All right. Let's get her going. Alrighty. Hello, hello. Welcome in. We're back with more of this, finally, after several things got in the way. And there are more things due to get in the way, because I'm almost out of data for the month. So, whether or not I'll stream tomorrow is not a certainty. More wood hauling? Yes, sort of. We finally raked up the leaves that had fallen after that tree took down all the leaves and stuff. So I was doing that in the afternoon. So that was tiring. Not as bad as wood hauling. That is pretty much resolved. Shouldn't be any more of that. God, I'm hoping there's not more of that. But we'll see. But yeah, just like raking up leaves and stuff and hauling it into the bush and dumping it. So not that bad. Just the heat, really. Just super hot. But yeah, I'm almost out of data for the month. So I should have enough to get this stream done. But whether or not, and no siblings to help. Yeah, exactly. Whether or not I will be streaming tomorrow, I don't know. Signs point to no. Because once I run out of data, my internet's not fast enough to stream. I can certainly try, but I don't think that would go super well. It'd be a pretty low quality stream. Jesus, it's gonna hit 30 degrees tomorrow. Ugh, I cannot wait for summer to be over. My God. It's been one of the worst summers I've ever lived through. So yeah, we're playing more of this. Hopefully we should be, I think we're right at the end of chapter 3. I think we stopped right before like the final testimony. And then after this, in a search for things to do, and things that would work well for like a quick hop in and out sort of stream, we're gonna try Satisfactory. I've been looking for an excuse to play that game again because a buddy of mine sends me updates every time like new stuff happens, and I've been keeping up to date on it, but like every time like something new comes out and I'm like, oh, I want to play that, I like don't do it right away, and then I start hearing updates about the next update after that one, and I'm like, oh well, I'll just wait until the next update comes out and then I'll play it, and then I just do that over and over again, and I haven't played the game in like 2 years. So yeah, maybe even longer. I don't know when the last time when I played Satisfactory, but yeah, we're gonna play that on stream, just because I really want to, and I don't really have any other things to play at the moment. I thought about doing some more WWE, but I want to give that a bit of a break. I like that, but I want to make it. Don't want to oversaturate it. So, anyways, let us get in here. We should be, yeah, Trial Part 4, we should be at the end. And then we'll probably, depending on how long it takes, we'll probably do some of Chapter 4. Guess what I'm doing? Are you farming in FF14 for tomes? That's my guess. You're done Scathe again? Yep. I've been doing a bunch of the Alliance raids. It's pretty much any of all the Alliance raids, whatever the third Alliance raid is, gives the maximum amount of tomestones. So I've been mixing it up with the Shadowbringers and Stormblood one. Well, I haven't done the Stormblood one yet, but I keep queuing for it and it keeps not popping up. But yeah, I should mention to you, make sure to get all of the stuff at the bottom of the list, like the earrings, the Taoist Moogle, the Patissier or Patissas, whatever they're called, Paisa, I think. Make sure to get those because I think those are from really old events that never came back, and I don't think you're going to be able to get them again. So, and they're really cheap, so now's the time. Everything else is, the only other thing that I think is limited is the Framers kit at the top and the umbrella, the Fat Cat umbrella. I think everything else is in the game, so like those things you want to make sure you get. and everything else is case-to-case basis. I'm gonna save up for the big cat umbrella, and then probably the next two things I get are the Kamuis. Get the two that I'm missing, so I can finally get the Ninetales mount. And then after that, I'm not sure. Probably some of the emotes. There's one emote there that is 80, I think, that you can only get from Eureka. So I kind of want to get it just so I don't have to worry about ever trying to get it in Eureka. But also, I don't care about it. Like, I'm not going to use it, so it's kind of low on the list. I don't know. Anyways, let's see this final testimony. The waxwork plot. Also, Courtney Scythe has straight up admitted on the stand that all of this is fake. And, well, not fake, that she absolutely collaborated with this guy, and we're still going for some reason, because getting my client declared innocent was not enough, apparently. It all began at the scene when I saw the waxwork and the note tucked inside its jacket. But the fair and the broom emote. The broom emote was actually the last thing I got as well. Because I've never felt like doing the Sky Builder scripts shit. I was like, oh, I'll finally get this. The actual body of the victim, as indicated in the note's instructions, was beneath the experimentation stage. Yeah, the broom emote is good. You're absolutely correct. The body had to be arranged in certain ways to implicate the defendant, which was my job. I enlisted the help of the entire forensic investigation team to dress the scene appropriately. So does that mean Strongheart was in on it? That's sort of his team. His involvement in things is starting to get questionable. The truth about the execution 10 years ago is a state secret of the highest level. I had to protect it. So I was right. The stage and the machine were all especially designed for the deception. So it seems, and all meticulously prepared. You did well to see through it. You're a very shrewd boy. Oh, I'm a shrewd boy? Oh, wow. You like the hair I got last night? Oh, yeah. I actually had that already. I got it from where it drops in-game, which is Zadnor in Shadowbringers. I was surprised. I was like, I have this? And then I looked it up and I was like, oh shit, this must be where I got it from. I wanted to insult me? I feel like she's gonna. So kind of you to say.
And what about this autopsy report then?
All I did was record the location of the body as being in the Crystal Tower instead of under the stage.
That's all? That's a terrible corruption!
Only my team were aware of the deceits, and then only under my explicit instructions. I like women talking down to me. Clearly. Nobody else at Scotland Yard knew anything about it, I assure you.
We must be thankful for small mercies, I suppose. Well, I believe that testimony has clarified everything. There's no particular need for a cross-examination, I would say.
No, I disagree. I can't shake the feeling that something's wrong. Just look at that expression on Dr. Scythe's face. Ow! It's the defense's right to cross-examine any witness following testimony. What is it about you Japanese that makes you all so doggedly persistent? Don't tell me you also have a history with some Japanese person.
Very well, if you so desire, counsel, proceed with the cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. Alright, here we go. I'm to press everything. Saw the waxwork in the note tucked inside the jacket. Actual body of the victim as indicated in the note's instructions was beneath the experimentation stage. Body to be arranged in certain ways to implicate the defendant, which was my job. Let's get more information on this. You've been learning to do that coin rolling on the fingers thingy while on prey cutscenes? Oh, really? Hey, that's a good use of time. The fucking thing that like Gina does in this game. That's brilliant. I usually just browse Reddit, but that's a way better use of those cutscenes. When you say arranged, I presume you mean with this. Yes, the instructions in the engineer's note said something along the lines of fabricate some evidence to make it clear that Harebrained alone could have killed Asmon. What else am I gonna do during prey? I don't know, laundry? Like I don't. So you mean that was your doing? I fetched Harebrained's ridiculous screwdriver from the stage. and took it with me, alone, to the abyss under the stage where the birdcage had fallen.
Alone, Doctor?
I didn't feel it would be appropriate to involve anybody else in that particular part of the deception. Weird. We've implicated everybody else. Did actually do laundry during our prey run last night. Yeah, someone else I was doing prey with was also doing their laundry, and I'm like, that'd be a good use of my time to do my laundry. That's constantly sitting behind me, but I hate doing it, and I'd rather do nothing. So that's what I do. There was a void under the stage where I'd found the birdcage lying in the dirt. I approached it, leaned down, and slowly opened it up. Then, I took the screwdriver in both hands and plunged it into the man's chest. Oh. Interesting that that gets its own 3D scene. They don't usually do that. In fact, they rarely, if ever, do that. Huh. And then you noted that in your fake autopsy report. The fictitious cause of death. Exactly. So, the actual cause of death was... Come up in a future case, maybe? Maybe, or it might come up later in this. The trauma resulting in the 30-foot drop.
My word.
What is it, Miss Usada?
Something about Dr. Scythe's last statement is playing on my mind, that's all.
Yes, mine too. Ugh! Dr. Scythe! Clean off my desk? Sounds good. There's really no need to shout. I can hear you perfectly well. The defense calls for you to add what you just said to your formal testimony. Oh? Which part? What I want her to supplement her testimony with is... the real cause of death. Because how did he break his neck if he fell onto his feet? The real cause of death being the fall of 30 feet. That part. Fine, if that's what you want. Just stop yelling, please. The prosecution concurs.
Very well. We will supplement your testimony now, witness.
If you wish, my lord. The cause of death was the neck trauma Asmund suffered from the 30-foot fall.
Hold it!
Okay. You're quite sure of that. It was as a result of a broken... It was as a result of a broken neck. Yes, as a professional, that was more than apparent.
You'd never know just by looking at the photograph of the victim, though, would you?
No, that's very true. Obviously not. Which is precisely why coroners are needed to determine the actual facts. Yes, assuming they can be trusted. There's no point calling her assessment into question without evidence. Let's get back to the testimony. Very well. Okay. Let me check my evidence again. Is there evidence that says he fell onto his feet? Autopsy report. This is all bogus now anyways. Broken vertebra, most likely resulting from an impact or sudden fall from considerable heights. No. Oh, is this the part? Because the bottom of this is broken? It might be. I feel like it's too early, but... We'll drop a save just in case, but I think that might be it. I think we nailed it in one go. How did he break his neck if he hit feet first? Let's try it.
Objection!
No, shit. All right. Well, we'll take one life down. Okay, so if that's the case, we'll keep pressing then. the entire team in perverting the course of justice. My team consists of the very best investigators there are. I demand loyalty from all members. We operate on a code of chivalry of sorts. You aid and abet a murderer, commit perjury, and dare to talk of chivalry? It was a matter of priorities. What? Nothing was more important than in protecting the secret of the professor. My team did what was necessary without losing sight of the primary goal. I consider their conduct exemplary.
Don't concede the point, Mr. Naruhodo. You mustn't let her win.
I need a lawyer. I'll take that silence as tacit acceptance. Now, can we move on? Alright, we'll press this as well. Why is it a state secret? Probably won't tell me, because that would break the secret, but you know. But at what cost? Faith in Scotland Yard is going to suffer a terrible blow as a result of this. And your precious secret is out now anyway. Yes, as you say. And I take full responsibility. Blow me down, Dr. Scythe! Surely there was some other way you could have protected the secret. No, there really wasn't. I've done my utmost, believe me. In many ways, I respect your determination. Oof, I nearly froze under that cold stare as she said that.
I do believe she was being genuine, though, Mr. Naruhodo.
Okay. So that's her story.
She's admitted everything and revealed her full involvement in the crime. I do wonder if there could really be much more to it.
Well, I don't know, but I just have a feeling.
Do you, Mr. Naruhodo? The truth is, I find it strange, too. How those two are reacting to this in completely opposite ways, I mean.
Yes, exactly. For some reason, I feel sure they're still trying to hide something. All right, let's try bringing the other statement up. Of what she did to the body. Just playing through again. For some reason, I can't skip it, which is weird. Is it because of this scene? I don't like it if you can skip through this. Oh, it's skipped right to this part. Huh. Weird. Okay. That was simply a matter of recording the stab wound as the cause of death in the autopsy report. The fall. I still think that it's based on the way he fell. It should be impossible that he broke his neck, but I don't know how else to prove that besides the birdcage, and that didn't work. So. Let's try the other statement. Never change it. Ouch to the victim's body. Believe there may be significance, so could you change your supplementary statement to explain that instead? Alright, what does this say? The victim's corpse would lay in the top of the cage and plunge the screwdriver into the chest. Okay. So it was you who stabbed Asmund with this? Yes, far easier than dissection, I assure you. No precision required. What a welcome change. The victim died instantly from a snapped neck. All I did was carry out the instructions I had been given. As unflinchingly as ever, no doubt. I imagine you didn't bat an eyelid when you drove the weapon into his body. There was no need to bat my eyelids. Oh. And what else did you have to do to twist the facts? Remind the court, why don't you? If you wish. That didn't really open up much either. And I don't think this helps at all. No. Okay, let's press the other statements. The first two. I don't know, I'd let her stab me. Fair. From what you described before, it seems like the note was anonymous. Did you have any idea who was behind it? Very few people in the know about what really happened 10 years ago to start with. But anyway, I'd never heard of this engineer. So no, I had no idea. Yet despite not knowing who was behind the plan, you went along with it. I had no choice. Protecting the professor's secret was my only concern. But the horse is bolted now, and the stable door will never shut again. Scotland Yard's reputation will be immeasurably damaged as a result of all of this. Yes, thank you, Lord Van Zeeks. I'm well aware of that.
So, as I understand it, what you found in the birdcage was the waxwork model. Where, then, was the victim's body?
Bodies beneath the experimentation stage. Alright, maybe this will pop something up. So you knew about the special construction of the stage used to carry out the trick then? It was quite obvious what had happened with the victim and the waxwork. And you switched the two over, didn't you? In other words, you recorded the victim's body as having been discovered in the Crystal Tower, and the waxwork, I wrapped it and sent it by carriage to the specified address at the specified time. And why were you given such directions? Presumably so it could be recovered by Drebber, and returned to Madame Tuspel's. I see, and then you put the birdcage back on the experimentation stage. Yes, although someone obviously made a mistake about which cage should go where. This might be it. I thought I'd made it perfectly clear to the team, but still. I suppose you were focused on the victim's body, that being a more important detail. Interesting. Okay, so... They switched the cages wrong. Is that what she said? Hang on. I didn't need to press that again. I wanted to hit history. Fuck. Somebody obviously made a mistake about which cage should go where. But I made it perfectly clear to the team, but still. You put the birdcage back on the experimentation stage. This doesn't make sense. When did the birdcage go back onto the experimentation stage? At what point? What? And then you put the birdcage back on the experimentation stage. Although somebody obviously made a mistake about which cage should go where. Am I stupid? Am I missing something? That doesn't make any sense to me. What does she mean by putting the birdcage back on the experimentation stage? And there being a mistake? I have no idea what that means. The other thing that this could be, maybe, is this was found on the experimentation stage. So how'd she... No, that makes sense. She just put it back there when she left. We've pressed everything. So there's a contradiction in here somewhere. Let me drop a save. Actually, no, I don't need to. I already did. Plunge the screwdriver into the chest. What could this be? That's the wound. That makes sense. Is it really not the fact that the birdcage fucking slammed into the ground feet first? Is it really not that, or is there something else here I'm missing? I feel like there's a bit about the evidence that I don't know about. Here? No. Yeah, there's nowhere else besides here. Sorry. Let's think here. I don't think this is it. I don't think this is the statement I need. I think this is the wrong... I think I need the other one that talks about, you know... Him going feet first. That broken vertebrae still doesn't line up. But I don't know how to prove it. Because it came up before where they were just like, how did he break his neck if he fell feet first? That's come up a couple times. But what is the piece of evidence I need? This maybe? I don't know if we've used this photograph yet. I'm taking suggestions, chat. Because I don't know... Like, it's gotta be this. That's the only thing that makes sense, but it didn't work. Crashed down with the victim inside into the crystal tower, causing damage to its base. Oh, I know why it didn't work. This is the one that went into the crystal tower. That's why. This was the one... Yeah, okay. This one went feet first, but it went through the... Okay. So where... So we don't know where the other birdcage is, then. If there were two... Floor's been opened by the explosion. Checking here. Actual body of the victim is indicated in the notes and instructions. It was beneath the experimentation stage. Unless it is the other statement? That doesn't make sense. There's no reason why she couldn't have just left this behind. I feel like it's gotta be something with this photograph. Because I don't know if we've used this as evidence yet. The other statement is she stood above the victim and plunged it into his chest. Oh, I think I might know what it is. I think I just got it. The blood stain is too large for him to have been stabbed when he was a corpse. So he must have been actively bleeding. Otherwise, it just would have made a hole. I think that might be it. The bloodstain's too large. I think that's it. I think that's it. So if that's the case, then yeah, I think I can present on this. Maybe?
Objection.
Fuck, it's not that. Shit. Cause of death with the neck trauma. He suffered from 30-foot fall. Let me just double check to see what the other statement said exactly. Due to the victim's corpse. It says corpse on this. Maybe it's this one. Let's try this one.
Objection.
There it is. Okay. I had the right idea, but on the wrong statement. Oh, I just realized my capture's all fucked up for this game again. Hang on. Turn that on. There we go. That should be fixed. I've got a nasty feeling that this inconsistency points to an extremely uncomfortable truth. Okay, that's fixed.
What on earth is the matter, Counsel? Have you lost your tongue?
Oh, this is a new one. It's like a subdued version of the Pursuit theme. Ooh, I like this. I apologize, my lord. Dr. Scythe, in that last statement of yours, there's just one point that seems to defy explanation. Out with it, my learned friend. There's an obvious inconsistency between your description and this photograph, which shows the victim in the birdcage following the events that led to his death.
Objection.
Oh, the court has already examined that photograph in depth. There's nothing new we can learn from it.
Objection.
Yes, we have already considered it. That's true. Oh, but we now know the facts to be different. What do you mean?
I believe we should let the defense explain. In this photograph, would we see the alleged inconsistency with the witness's statement?
I believe it's the bloodstain.
Take that.
Look closely at the bloodstain on the victim's chest. It clearly extends in a downwards direction. Oh, is that the deal? Is because it dripped down? Okay, that makes sense. I was right, but for a slightly wrong reason. Okay, we still got it. It clearly extends in a downwards direction towards the man's feet.
And why is that significant, Counsel? If the victim was stabbed moments before the kinesis machine was set in motion, that's entirely expected. Ah, of course. No, that's not what happened.
Exactly, my lord. Dr. Scythe made it very clear in her testimony just now that the point at which she stole Professor Harebrain's screwdriver and stabbed the victim was after the grand deception was set in motion, when the birdcage had fallen below the stage, out of sight. From the shape of it, it's clear that the birdcage would have fallen on its side after the 30-foot drop. And if the victim had really been stabbed whilst inside the birdcage in that position, the blood from the wound would have spread out equally in all directions. For it to have formed this longitudinal appearance we see in the picture is inconceivable. Ah. Ow! Given that the victim's blood seeped vertically downwards from the wound, it must be the case that when you stabbed Mr. Asman, he was standing up. In short, Dr. Scythe, your latest testimony was a total fabrication! God, I love this pursuit theme. The first time I heard this theme, I didn't like it, and now I love it. I knew it. I was right. Now I've identified that contradiction. There's only one way to explain the facts. We've all been under a great misapprehension here. What? What sort of misapprehension? Dr. Scythe, you claim you were coerced into helping Mr. Drebber as a result of the note he left in the waxwork. You claim that you made changes to the scene of the crime to implicate the defendant. And you claim that you authored a fake autopsy report to cover your tracks. But one of those claims is an out-and-out lie. Because the question of what the bloodstain really tells us has only one possible answer. If that is the case, what is it, man? Oh, my hand. Why did I do that?
Counselor, you clearly struck upon a revelation. Now tell the court what it is. Which part of Dr. Scythe's story is soon to be a lie by the contradiction in her testimony?
The autopsy? No, the stabbing of the victim? I think. It's either that or the autopsy report. Let me save. I think it's the fact that she stabbed him while he was dead. The answer is very simple if you consider the sequence of events. If, when the victim was stabbed, the blood from the wound seeped downwards as it did, we can be sure that the victim must have been either sitting or standing upright at the time.
But as you rightly pointed out, the birdcage would have fallen on its side when it fell beneath the stage.
Okay, it's the same point we were making, just... we're making it again. Yes, it would. Which tells us that the victim must have been in that position of his own accord.
Objection!
That's impossible. The man was dead, remember?
Oh, no, that is the misapprehension. Oh, she's sweating. When the birdcage fell from the stage into the void below, it must have hit the ground with considerable force. I love this, like, subdued version of the pursuit theme. It's so nice. But Mr. Asman didn't die in the fall. He probably lost consciousness for a while, but when he came round, he got to his feet to climb out of the cage. Just as Dr. Scythe appeared. If the victim was in fact alive at that point in time, it changes everything. Mr. Odie Asman's killer wasn't the defendant, Professor Albert Harebrain, nor was it the mastermind behind the stage trickery, Mr. Enoch Drebber. It was you, Dr. Courtney Scythe! 8d6 emotional damage.
Order! 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 Can this possibly be true?
Have you been taking me for a fool? It was you, was it? You killed him. Instead of having continuous I, imagine him saying each individual A. Oh yeah. A. You hoped that by admitting to being an accomplice in Mr. Drebber's scheme, the trial would end, before you were accused of a far worse crime. Cold-blooded murder. Oh, do shut up. You're so desperate now, you're making all this up, as if I would do something like that.
Objection!
Oh, Susada.
I assure you the defense is not desperate, Doctor. Mr. Naruhodo has established the facts using evidence and logic alone.
Ha! Logic? Don't make me laugh. Sadly, your logic has a gaping hole in it. What? What do you mean? I'd have thought it was obvious. A motive, boy. You're lacking a motive. What possible reason would I have to kill Mr. Asmon? You were fucking coerced into switching the bodies and there wasn't a body? Hello? Asmon was involved in a number of criminal activities, from coercion to theft to murder. Wanted to give me a gaping hole, if you know what I mean. I don't. Please explain. But there is no known connection to Dr. Scythe there. Are we serious here? She was being coerced. Her story about her trying to protect the secret has not changed. I wanted to peg me. Oh, that makes sense.
I'm rather relieved to say it does seem somewhat far-fetched.
True, there's no obvious motive. There's still something in the back of my mind. I feel sure I've seen something somewhere that hints at why the coroner might have done this. Yes, I might have tampered with the crime scene and concocted a fake report. But murdering someone for no reason is a very different story.
Objection!
No, when you questioned what possible reason you could have for wanting to kill Mr. Asmon. Something did come to mind. What?
What was it, Counsel? Invite the court at once.
Yes, we saw it yesterday, didn't we? Oh fuck, that was a long time ago for me. Something that seemed strange, but we had no reason to suspect it at the time. Ow! There's a particular object that explains why Dr. Scythe would have wanted to kill Mr. Asmon. Iron Mask. I like how it switches from a slam to a slap depending on how confident Rinosuke is. Oh, yeah. He knows who the professor is? Oh, yeah, because he wrote the report. I'm trying to remember, though, it's something that they said they saw yesterday. And that, to me, is weird. Because I'm trying to figure out, like, what the fuck did we see, but that was so long ago. I do think it is the mask. I think you're right. Because I don't know what the fuck, like, this, I don't know what the scalpels are talking about. And the screwdriver doesn't really help me, I don't think. I think it's the mask. We have 2 lives if I fuck up. Hopefully I don't fuck up too badly. It's the Iron Mask. You've lost me. Huh?
Sorry, Mr. Naruhodo, but why the Iron Mask?
Well, of all the things I saw yesterday, it left the greatest impression, so... Okay, that was wrong. Clearly you have no idea what you're talking about. Ah, I must have said the wrong thing.
Forgive the interruption, Dr. Scythe, but what my colleague meant to say was scalpels. Perhaps that makes a little more sense to you.
Okay, I probably would have remembered this if I didn't play this several weeks later. Ah, of course.
Did you say scalpels?
Ah. Would appear that word has struck a chord, Doctor. You. Come on, out with it. It was yesterday when we visited your laboratory. Look at this big thick book here.
Ah, it appears to be an accounting ledger. It's a record of the forensic team's spending, I think.
Oh, right, this part. Was she in debt? Was that the explanation? Or she was fucking smuggling or something? Yeah, they were spending like crazy amounts of money on scalpels.
Oh?
What is it?
It's clear that the team purchases various equipments and supplies on a monthly basis, but... Well, one entry seems rather strange.
Really? In what way?
They're buying 500 scalpels every month!
I still don't know how this affects her motive, but I'm sure we're about to find out.
500 scalpels a month?
At first, I wondered what on earth you could be using that many scalpels for. But actually, I realize now it's not the scalpels themselves that are significant. It's the money for them. disappearing every month from the department's accounts.
Asmon's criminal organization relied heavily on extortion for its funding, tracing the money from the forensic investigation team's account to find out where it was going would be extremely straightforward.
Oh, she was being fucking extorted, that's why. And she wanted to kill Asmon to get out of it, so she wasn't dead. 10 years ago, when Mr. Asmon was still a journalist and wrote this article about Mr. Drebber, he may well have stumbled upon information as he was researching the story. Information relating to Dr. Scythe's darkest secret that he would use to rack money from her for the next decade.
Her darkest secret? Good lord, you mean?
I don't know what happened on the night of that execution 10 years ago, but clearly the opportunity to rid yourself of that menace was too tempting to pass up.
So in the end,
You weren't coerced at all, were you? You did it entirely of your own free will. You stabbed Mr. Asmon in the heart with all your might, to silence the blackmailer who knew your dark secret forever. Oh, it's time. You'll never understand. None of you. Oh, she's got the same pattern on the top of her head. Oh, we've had to keep covered up all these long years. What was that it? No fucking way that was the breakdown. As very little of the machine remains after it was ripped apart by the bomb. The truth of this case can never be properly established unless you speak out.
And if you decide not to, it's very possible that Courtney Scythe will escape punishment for her crimes. Please, sir, own up to what you've done, and tell the court the truth about what happened.
10 years ago, you told the truth, and you were robbed of a bright and successful future as a result. I can certainly understand your bitterness and your consternation now. However, this is surely the chance you've been waiting for, to sever the hold that fate's had over you all these years. Okay, I think this guy's about to break down. Super high voltage, instantaneous kinesis. I mean, really. It's the addle-brained mock scientists that are the worst, you know. They don't recognize the fact that they don't have talent. They can't even get that right. And so they end up chasing impossible dreams, having unbridled faith in their abilities. They go on and on about their wonderful hypotheses, their stupid eyes shining like a little child's. Ow, ow, they make me sick. I can't abide their foolishness. Careful, Mr. Drebber.
I was particularly pleased with the kinesis machine. It made for quite a show, didn't it? Ow! So you admit it. You admit that it was nothing more than a sham made for the purpose of killing the victim. Yes, I admit it. I did it all, in the name of revenge. Revenge for the future that Mr. Asmon's article had deprived you of 10 years earlier. But the revenge you sought didn't stop at Asmon, did it?
Which is where the very particular waxwork comes in. Yes, I see.
The condemned convict that you saw rising from the grave in Lowgate Cemetery 10 years ago. If your account of those events was all true,
then obviously Scotland Yard couldn't afford to acknowledge what had happened. Even if it meant discrediting a bright young man and crushing any future career he might have had.
So your plan required that you abduct the particular waxwork model, in order to exact your revenge on Scotland Yard as well, or on Dr. Scythe to be precise. Dial complete. It was a year ago. By some extraordinary twist of fate, Asmon turned up at my workshop. He didn't remember who I was, of course. He just wanted to employ my services as an engineer. And he happened to have a paper with him. An article of the front page caught my eye. About the coroner who'd handled that bogus autopsy being appointed head of the new forensic team. When I learnt that news, My cognitive processes started to devise the plan.
What a horrid tale.
He robbed me of my future, so I wanted to use the man's own wiles against him, for revenge, and have that rotten Scotland Yard eating out of my hand at the same time. Ow, ow. I wanted them all to suffer the same humiliation I had to suffer. Your actions against those who'd ruined your future were justified as revenge. At least, to yourself. Certainly, no one has the right to destroy another's prospects, especially for purely selfish gain. And yet, carrying out your plan, you did exactly that to someone else, didn't you? Did I? Professor Harebrain's only crime was passion for his hypothesis, but you had no compunction about sacrificing his future to effect your revenge. You knew that he would be forever branded a failure and a fraud. Perhaps life treated you unfairly 10 years ago, and others' misconduct left your life in tatters. But remember this. Your own actions resulted in exactly the same thing for another perfectly innocent young man. Yeah, there's no breakdown. There just isn't one. Wow, yeah, this game's breakdowns do suck. They might be the worst in the series. They started off strong with the first case, and then it's just been disappointment after disappointment. That is really unfortunate. I was so looking forward to him having a really cool breakdown. That fucking sucks. Oh well.
Lord Van Zieks, what of Dr. Scythe?
An immediate warrant for her arrest has been granted, and she's been remanded in custody, my lord. I presume she will face trial in the coming days along with Mr. Drebber.
A most regrettable situation indeed. She's made great contributions to her profession over the years. It really is a hard truth to swallow.
Yeah, I was expecting like all his mechanics to break down and fucking gears to start flying out of his head. But like, I think Courtney Scythe used the same animation she'd already used earlier in the case. Like, they literally didn't have a breakdown for this case. There was just straight up nothing. That blows.
However, that is a topic for some future occasion. For now, Professor Harebrain.
Oh, yes.
It seems there was a great deal more to your experiment than you realized. However, I think we can assume now that all the sort of details have been brought to light. This has been a very long and profound trial, but I'm pleased to say you are absolved of all guilt.
This whole experiment has taught me a very great but painful lesson. Me, this dedicated scientist, this devotee of natural philosophy. I've been selfish and self-centered, and above all, a fool. Professor. I've spent my life thinking of nothing but my research, misguidedly believing that I could do whatever I set my mind to, despite my lack of talent. And the worst of it is, in the process, I've caused others pain and misery. Others who are far, far greater people than I. Oh, no, Professor. That's not true. What? Don't tar yourself with the same brush as Drebber. What happened was his doing, and his alone. This outcome is his fate, not yours. You are not to blame in any way. Lord Van Zieks. And the derision with which he referred to you earlier, calling you a fool, talentless even. The man has no idea. You believe in yourself and work your fingers to the bone to realize your dreams. That's laudable, not laughable. No one has the right to deride another for such choices. Oh. Thank you, Barak.
So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
Yes, my lord.
it is this court's expectation that you find the defendant not guilty of the charge of which he stands accused. I presume there are no objections.
None for me, my lord.
Certainly not.
And this trial has really made me think, but this is the right decision.
It's all been proven methodically and rigorously. I have no misgivings whatsoever.
What's that? He's done, is he? It's all over?
I don't know what's become of the yard these days. I don't recognize the place.
Very well. In that case, I hereby pronounce the defendant.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Expecting at the last moment to fucking harebrain be like, but wait! Actually, I'm guilty! And my theory is true! And I'm not stupid, I'm not a stupid piss baby! Fuck you!
Court is now adjourned.
Jesus. Alright. It's over. That was some trial. So we're like 100% gonna figure out the professor mystery in this game, right? Like it would be bizarre if we didn't. That's definitely gonna be the last case. Or maybe even the next case. Maybe it'll be like, we'll figure out that and then that'll lead to a greater mystery in the 5th case. I don't know. 24th of October, 4:33 p.m. The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. Professor, what a splendid outcome, isn't it?
Oh, it is, it is. Congratulations, Professor Harebrain.
Mr. Naruhodo, Mr. Sato, I am truly beside myself with gratitude. How could I ever thank you enough? Oh, excuse me. I'm just glad it's all been cleared up, that you realize you were just caught up in a bad situation. Ah, right now, you know, if I had that research grant money, I'd give the whole lot to you, every penny. Well, that's very kind, but I'm just a student, so...
We don't need any financial reward. Your acquittal is more than enough.
Are we doing this all pro bono? What the fuck? I want to get paid a little bit. Oh dear, what can I do? Aha! How about this as a memento? The paper about my hypothesis is inside. Well, just as a memento then. Thank you.
I've been wondering, Professor. What are you going to do now?
Oh my. Yes. What am I going to do? My hypothesis and my great machine lie in ruins. But still, it's been too long since I was last in London, so perhaps I'll enjoy some sightseeing. I must explore the great exhibition whilst I'm here, too, and see if new inspiration hits me.
Oh yes, that's a wonderful idea.
I can't believe it.
Oh, it is Van Zeeks. He's gonna hook up with his ex again. Lord Van Zeeks, what are you doing in here? Eric! I'm sorry you had to go through that, Albert. Well, if I'm honest, it was terrifying. You were like a great demon behind your bench there, snarling down on your prey. You're one of the few true friends I have. Even though we look like we're from different games, I couldn't leave it to anybody else to handle the prosecution, or the defense. Sorry? Or the defense? Did I just hear that right? Sora, have you met my new boyfriend, Rinosuke? I always knew that you had my best interests at heart, don't worry. How about you show me around while I'm here in town? It's been a long time since we left on university. We have a lot to catch up on. Listen, Albert. In a few days, your acquittal will be made official. When that happens, you must head straight to Dover. I'll accompany you. What? From there, you'll cross the channel and make your way back to Germany. I've already purchased the tickets. But no! Hold on a minute, Barrack! What about the Great Exhibition? This is the chance of a lifetime for me. I want to look around. No sightseeing, Albert. Give up on the idea. Sometimes it's hard to see any warmth in those eyes, Barrack. Head to Dover. Ben Dover. He's a good friend of mine. Lord Van Zeeks, what's all this about?
Unnecessary precaution.
Oh, it's the fucking Reaper curse. He doesn't want him to fucking die.
Yes, I think I understand.
You do?
Well, Iris told me that when you met Lord Van Zeeks at his office some days ago, he asked how Mr. Natsume was doing.
Yes, that's right. I remember being surprised at the time, and thinking it was nice of him to ask.
The point is, Mr. Natsume is still alive and well. Even though it's been more than 6 months now since he stood trial with the Reaper as the prosecutor.
Ah, you mean the Reaper's influence doesn't stretch overseas?
Those in the Reaper's sights meet their ends days or sometimes months after their acquittal. That's been the pattern up to now.
But of course, we know that both Mr. Natsume and Gina were completely innocent.
Oh yeah, Gina's still alive.
True. And perhaps that governs the Reaper's actions. The truly innocent are spared. But I don't want to take any chances with a close personal friend.
Barrack!
Like the mustached Nipponese, this man should leave the country without delay. That's why I'm packing him off to Germany at once.
Right. Did your friend-shaped package get any say in it?
Goodness, was this your intention all along then, Lord Van Zeeks?
In court, where people think of him as the Reaper, this man seems absolutely merciless. And yet, sometimes I feel as though I don't understand him at all.
It's time to go, Albert. Back to the prison for the time being.
Ah, yes, all right. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you so much for everything. Not at all, Professor. It was a pleasure getting to know you.
Best wishes, Professor Harebrain.
Well, once the dust is settled, you must come and visit me in Germany. Anyway, goodbye for now.
Now, my Nipponese friend.
Oh, yes? I thought you'd gone too.
We have matters to discuss. Can you spare me some time?
You want to talk with me?
I'll be waiting in the courtroom in 10 minutes.
In the courtroom? Fuck. Well, that was strange. For some reason, I didn't get that sense of impending doom as you walked away this time.
We're going to have rough, vigorous sex in our place of work. It's been a long time kink of mine, and I think I can finally get it done.
The enigma, Barrack Van Zeeks. What does he want to discuss, I wonder? Aside from the sex, the answer awaits in the courtroom, I suppose. Here goes, then. "24th of October, 4:58 p.m. The Old Bailey Courtroom." Oh, is he gonna reveal the, identity of the masked man?
So, are you satisfied? You saved a guileless scientist from a great injustice.
Yes, I think so. I'm relieved, at least, that the man's innocence could be proven.
Anyway, I imagine you've been wondering where my animosity towards you Nipponese comes from.
Oh! We're getting some exposition. Cool. Is this the part where he takes off the mask of the professor and it's a Japanese guy? Ow. Well, first I thought you just didn't like me. I imagined you saw me as a pretentious child from an unimportant land who had no business being here. Which I was. But now I think differently. You clearly know our ways, so I would guess that some specific incident led to your thorough dislike of my race. Will you tell me what happened, please?
The professor. I thought I'd never hear that name in this courtroom again, to be honest.
He took your brother's life.
Clint. My brother was Clint Van Zeeks. 16 years ago, when I was still just in my teens, he was already the director of prosecutions and a key member of the judiciary. I looked up to him,
He was everything I aspired to be. He was involved in the establishment of justice systems in foreign countries as well. There were exchange programs between Britain and other nations then too, to share knowledge and ideas. As part of one of those programs, 3 judicial students came to Britain from your homeland, the Empire of Japan.
Oh, it was 16 years ago. Then one of them could have been my father.
Of course. I remember Dr. Mikotoba well.
I had no idea.
I was a minor at the time, training at the prosecutor's office. One day, Clint introduced me to the 3 visiting Nipponese.
So, you've actually met my father. That why you hate Japanese? You fuck your girlfriend? What's going on?
He and his colleagues were polite and amicable. They were adept at their work and exacting in their standards. It was my first encounter with the Nipponese spirit, and it made a very great impression upon me. But 6 years later, that's when it happened. The investigation was going nowhere. There were no suspects even. Just an ever-growing list of victims. They invited me to an orgy. Rinosuke, that's where you come in. I bet you're wondering why I called you in here. Let's get the rest of the team in here. And in the end, my brother became one of them. The last, in fact, before the case was finally resolved. I'm so sorry, Lord Van Zieks. Truly. Clint was always ready to put his life on the line for justice anyway. Though he wouldn't have wanted it any other way. He lost his life to the killer, but it was his victory in the end. For me personally, though, it was a great loss. I found myself in a very dark place indeed. That dark place was the closet, and I finally come out, when I finally found out the killer's identity. The reason why no one had been able to catch the man sooner ceased to be such a mystery. He'd been hiding in plain sight all the time. In plain sight? Are you aware of political events 10 years ago? It was a period of extremely sensitive diplomacy between the British and Japanese empires. The professor was absolutely Japanese. It's obvious at this point. A new treaty was being forged, I think. Correct. The Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation was being concluded. The leaders of both countries were deep in extensive political discussions. Which is why this particular killer's appearance in court was conducted as a closed trial. If the British public had known the identity of the killer, not only would the treaty have been in jeopardy, but our 2 nations could very well have ended up at war. What? A war? Between Britain and Japan?
But that would mean... Oh my! You mean to say the professor was... Baby Kazuma?
Oh, here we go. Here's the big reveal.
When the trial reached its conclusion...
Oh, this is his voice?
I
All right.
thought to myself, yes, it's time.
Let's see it. Whoops, wrong button.
Time for you to come face to face with this hideous monster. I borrowed the key for the mask from the proprietress of the Waxwork Museum. So see for yourselves now. Confirm it with your own eyes. The truth that's been hidden this past decade.
That's the professor?
Yes, that's him.
Until now, the thought never even crossed my mind.
Really?
That the mass murderer, whose crimes shook Britain as never before, was Japanese.
Yeah. Very obvious at this point.
Wait,
Still,
wait a
big
minute.
twist.
That face.
Oh, is it someone we know?
I feel as though I've seen it somewhere.
Is it Kazuma's dad?
Strangely familiar.
Oh, it is Kazuma's dad. And he's about to remember. Oh no! This was his secret mission. Oh, here we go. God, he looks rad. Yeah, that hair is a dead giveaway.
Father.
It is his dad! Oh, shit! Oh, fuck! 1, God, he looks good. That is such a sick outfit. 2, it's his dad, which means it was probably one of the 3 students who came over in the exchange program. I'm guessing it was Mikotoba, Kazuma's dad, and probably someone else, maybe related to Rinosuke? I don't know.
What? Father?
There he is. It's our boy.
Kazuma!
He was alive the whole time! Son of a bitch!
My best friend, Kazuma Asogi. After a whole year, finally his memories
Why did
returned.
Sherlock lie? Oh, this is such... Or Herlock, sorry. This is such a good mystery. God, your drip is immaculate. What the fuck?
He stood there before me.
Where did you get that? It looks so good. You look like you're from Fate.
Ryunosuke. Hello again. My friend.
Kazuma-sama!
Judicial Assistant Mikotoba.
Not even calling her by her name, huh? Alright, cool. Can we have that mask? It's really cool.
It's been a very long road. Thank you.
This game story is banger, but the lack of breakdowns really bumps this game down. Yeah, I mean, I honestly think part of it is due to the animation budget of like they only have so much to go around because this game's had a lot of custom animations. So I'm wondering if they had to kind of sacrifice those to get what we're seeing right now. It's possible that was the case. It's hard to say. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get what you mean. Losing the breakdowns are really, really rough. I don't know if it was a worthwhile trade. Maybe the last 2 breakdowns will be good.
For guiding
Maybe
my
they
friend
sacrificed the second and third breakdowns.
It was an honor.
There's still time.
I knew you wouldn't die that easily. Kazuma.
I don't think you knew that at all, Ryunosuke. You were pretty dead set that he was dead. A
I
bit of a
am you,
revisionist history from you.
for taking good care of that in my absence.
Oh,
Sorry, Van Seeksheim. My husband is alive. I can't continue this relationship.
The Asogi clan, passed down through the generations. When we left Japan, this sword was at my friend's side. A Japanese man's katana is his soul, and he couldn't be parted from it.
Pretty sure at this point in history, katanas were mostly outlawed.
But then, when the incident happened, it was Susato-san's wish that I inherit the sword, and I've kept it with me ever since, along with my memories of the friendship we shared.
Also, I believe the English VAs for this are actually like native Japanese speakers, and I gotta say they did a really good job on their English pronunciation. Normally it's pretty brutal, but this is like very
By my
solid.
side, I always felt that you were watching over me somehow.
You can definitely tell like there's some irregularities, but still really good compared to most of the things I see. Oh, we no longer have a sword. If it's early to mid 19th century, they were legal.
I've made it
Oh, were they?
at last.
I thought the sword ban happened before that.
Father,
Are you saying... Surely not.
Weren't outlawed until
You knew all
1876.
this time.
I don't know if we have a year. I don't know what period Victorian Britain is, because I know the Wild West was the late 1800s. So maybe Victorian Britain was earlier than that. I don't know.
I'm looking at it, but I still can't believe it. This mass murderer is Kazuma's father.
That is someone else's property? Hello? Okay. I guess we'll let Two Spells know to send the receipt to Barrick's office.
Kazuma-sama.
This 19th century, the Nintendo eShop for the game. Okay, so it was probably like shortly before the sword ban. I had to guess. He's got 2 swords now.
Ryunosuke, we have much to talk about, but now is not the time. I'll be seeing you.
That's all Kazuma said. Before he turned and left us there, in the courtroom.
So he's the living afterimage of the man who took my brother's life, is he? Yes, Kazuma Osogi, my best friend. And my husband... nothing?
3 months ago when Lord Strongheart introduced us, I had an inkling there was something there, some connection.
Why did Lord Strongheart do that? Why did he make Kazuma Lord Van Zeek's apprentice? And when he was suffering amnesia, too.
The man was apprehended, even executed. But his legacy just won't die. That's the sad truth. Anyway, that's all I had to say. I thank you for meeting with me as I asked.
"10 years ago, my grandmother took me to the railway station. We were there to meet my father from the train. For me, it was the first time I'd ever seen him.
Of course, Susato-san. All this is tied up with painful memories for her, too. She's never talked about this with me before, though.
It took time to adjust to having father around, but just when I was starting to get used to it, he called me into his study one day. He told me that a great friend of his had passed away in London, and that the friend had left behind a son, a boy 7 years my senior. Father told me the boy had made a promise to his late father, so he was studying to become a defense lawyer. I wanted to help, so I studied to become a qualified judicial assistant. As I'm sure you've worked out, that young man's name was Kazuma Osogi. So you see, that's how he and I met.
Also, didn't
For
she
a
say there
brief
was, like...
moment, my great
Alright.
friend had returned, only to disappear again all too soon.
She said that her, like, home life was, like, there was some tension there or something? Which might be part of all this? I don't know.
But in that fleeting encounter, something stirred. Something that had been dormant for a long time. As if great wheels had been set in motion. I could almost hear them creaking into life. In some ways, it was the end of a chapter. But in many, it was the start of a new one.
Dad ditched her to raise Kazuma? Maybe. Alright. Well, that is chapter 3. Took a second to show up. This was a good chapter. I liked it. I don't think there was really anything that, like, I thought was bad writing, of, like, contradictions that didn't make sense. At least I don't remember now. There might have been maybe one. But, like, I know the one that I got stuck on last time was, like, that was just me being dumb. Best part with Scythe, Hatawuga, Unga Bunga, bark, 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 bark. I agree. Okay, well, it is 9:30. So Twisted Karma and his last bow. Ooh. Well, we'll get to that chapter. Most bizarre incident born of a curious advertisement and a commonplace killing at the edge of town. That looks like Barrack standing there. I have a feeling this one's gonna be interesting. Okay, well, yeah, that'll be it for me for Greatest Attorney. I think that's a good place to end it, since we only have a little bit more before we usually end off anyways. So YouTube, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll be back here with Chapter 4 at some point. Bye-bye.